Do you guys ever watch those makeup influencers and think, I wish I could do that? I'm always trying to do a perfect contour or a cat eye. But the truth of the matter is, I just use my same old things that I love. And in this case, it is Thrive Cosmetics. And the two things I love the most are their Liquid Lash Extensions mascara and the Buildable Blur concealer. You guys, these two things, I put them on every single day in addition to some eyeliner, and that's it. I call it a day. I'm not going to be able to be like a makeup influencer, but I can look good in the few items that I love. And you know that Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products you can depend on for daily wear to show stopping self-expression, which sometimes you got to pile that mascara on a little thicker, you know? Let me tell you about the mascara. They have over 40,000 five-star reviews. It lasts all day. And to take it off, you just warm water and a washcloth. And they have something called flake-free tubing formula. And it is cool because when you take it off, they look like little tubes that come off your eyelashes. And it's perfect. And it doesn't irritate your eyes at all. You guys, I love it. And you know that Thrive gives back. They donate funds and products to help communities thrive. So discover your new trusty favorite thing from Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. And right now you can get exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. That's thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. I'm going to spell it for you. Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pink shade. You get it? Because they give back. They give to the cause. Thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade for 20% off your first order. Go get that mascara, guys. You'll love it.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. I have got Stevie of 90 Day Fiance, and I'm so excited, Stevie, to meet you, my Mississippi girl.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Stevie, do you have any boob pictures behind you? That's the first question.
Actually, yes, because I'm in my art studio, so I have
Yeah.
quite a few. They're
Okay.
everywhere. Boobs everywhere.
Boobs, boobs, boobs.
Yes.
Okay, now I have a question because we're recording at this time because of your job, but I thought on the show you said your job was like you were teaching English online. So like are you going somewhere for a job or to explain?
So I actually work 3 jobs, so I stay pretty busy.
Wow.
Yeah, so during the day, I work for, like, a screen printing company, and I do,
Okay.
like, social media, networking and stuff, and also sales for them.
Uh-huh.
And then in the afternoons, I paint, and then on the side, I teach English. I don't teach English as much as I used to when I met Maddie. I was doing it, like, all the time, but now I just do it every once in a while. And I've also written an English book, so I just kind of, like, have been reselling that book and, like, able to utilize that so that I can kind of step away from that a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So your audio is going in and out. I wonder if it's like your hair is on your microphone.
Probably. Let me try to move it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's better when you move it.
Better.
Yeah, that's better because I think it was hitting it. Okay. That's okay. Okay, so 3 jobs because I was like, they said she gets home from work and I was like, no, wait a minute. I'm confused.
Yeah, I work a lot.
Okay, well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, now one of the burning questions is you said in the first episode that you had 2 kids.
I do.
Yes. In the words of Nancy Grace, where are the children? Where are the children?
My children are very well taken care of by me.
Okay.
And yeah, they do stay with me, but you will not see them at all because I am a mama bear and I've just chosen to kind of keep them out of that light for now. But when they're ready, you know, they can step out.
Okay. Are they little? Are they little bitty kids?
No, they're not little. No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
Okay. Well, I know I wasn't worried, but it's funny because
everyone asks. I get asked like every single week after every episode, if I have children, where are they? Are they stuck in their room? Like they're perfectly fine.
Yes.
I just choose not to put them on television.
Okay.
So.
Because when Maddie first came to your house, it looked like it was like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And I was like, either they're filming there because if she has 2 kids, they got to be somewhere.
No, we just stayed out of their room.
Sorry. That happens on this. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I just did that.
You're good.
That's balloons, guys, if you're not watching on video. Okay. All right. Well, Now listen, you're on this show, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So if you would have never even mentioned the kids and then somebody found out you had kids, they would be like, she doesn't take care of her children. She never mentions them, you
Absolutely,
know?
yeah. I think
So
moms get it either way, no matter what they do. But again, this is just a choice that I've made and I stand by that. So like
yeah,
no apologies there.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. I think, you see it sometimes on TV. The kids are shown and they don't want to be. That's obvious. Or,
Yeah.
then they act like little jerks. I mean, I've got kids, so I know, they might act like jerks. Or if you see something like the Baldwins, which is a show I'm covering, they've got so many kids that we can't even figure out what their names are because there's so many.
Yeah, no, my kids are great. I will say like my son is just like not interested at all. Like I don't even know that he knows what the show is, nor does he care.
Yeah,
He does rodeos, he's a farmhand, like he doesn't care. And then
cute.
my daughter obviously keeps in touch with everything, but she respects my wishes as well for right now. So we'll see what happens in the future.
And do the kids like Maddie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could
Our
you
house is
not?
like yeah, yeah, absolutely. They met Maddie through like video calls. They were
Mhm.
able to talk to him, beforehand as well. So they knew Maddie. Of course, I sheltered them a lot from like, and especially in the very beginning, because I didn't know like what this was.
Right.
Yeah, so they got to know him through the phone, and my kids are really cool. Like they just want me to be happy, and as long as I'm happy, they're happy, and yeah, so they're good.
Well, so I'm Southern like you, and so when I first saw Hattiesburg, I got excited because number one, my sister was born in Hattiesburg. Me and my other sister were born in Jackson, but my dad had a job there at the time, and I don't even really know the story. But people are talking about Hattiesburg and like you're bringing this guy from Iran to Hattiesburg. I was like, Hattiesburg is a college town.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah, definitely. So I will say that if I know you're familiar with Hattiesburg, you know that there are a lot of small towns that reside outside of Hattiesburg. I have lived in all of those small towns. So
Okay.
like, I say, I'm from Hattiesburg. Really, I'm from every town outside of Hattiesburg. But I went to school, like I went to college in Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg is a college town. I do feel like Hattiesburg is a lot more open than some of these like outside residing towns.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so
You'll find that with college towns in general, I think. And Hattiesburg's so close to New Orleans. So Maddie flies into New Orleans, which has got to be, I was like, oh my gosh, she should have taken him through Jackson. There would be no culture shock there. There's nothing to see,
yeah.
just, nothing to see.
It was a
Uh,
lot.
but I was like, oh my gosh, this poor guy is coming from such like a closed in culture that women can't even show their hair. And now we're just got like full nudity on the street. I was like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I think New Orleans is something that like Maddie had always like read about and like saw videos about and things like that. So Maddie was actually like excited to fly into New Orleans. This is an
Okay.
experience that he wanted to. I didn't just like toss him in there. And an interesting fact that a lot of people don't know about me is I actually lived in Louisiana for like around 5 or 6 years before I moved back to Mississippi again. So it's something that like I had conversations with Maddie about, like Louisiana. He knew about Louisiana. Of course, being there is totally different. But yeah, definitely a culture shock. I really enjoyed like watching him because it was like it was just really cool to like see it through, like watch him like look at everything. So
I know, and we see that a lot on the show, and even in the opposite direction when we do 90 Day the Other Way, you see the Americans over there and have to get used to a different way of life in a different
yeah,
country, like where the hot water is. And a lot of these countries seem like they have shower rooms. It's like the toilet, the sink, the shower. It's all just one room, and you just like
right.
a wet room. And it's a lot of things like that. And it's a lot of talk on the show about bidets. People are like
Yes.
the foreigners are always interested in the bidets and don't
I had a
understand why.
bidet installed before he arrived
Good.
because I knew
See?
that would be an issue.
You're smart. A lot of people don't. And then they're like, what are we going to do? Do you guys ever watch those makeup influencers and think, I wish I could do that? I'm always trying to do a perfect contour or a cat eye, but the truth of the matter is, I just use my same old things that I love. And in this case, it is Thrive Cosmetics. And the two things I love the most are their Liquid Lash Extensions mascara and the Buildable Blur concealer. You guys, these two things, I put them on every single day in addition to some eyeliner, and that's it. I call it a day. I'm not going to be able to be like a makeup influencer, but I can look good in the few items that I love. And you know that Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products you can depend on for daily wear to show stopping self-expression, which sometimes you got to pile that mascara on a little thicker, you know? Let me tell you about the mascara. They have over 40,000 five-star reviews. It lasts all day. And to take it off, you just warm water and a washcloth. And they have something called flake-free tubing formula. And it is cool because when you take it off, they look like little tubes that come off your eyelashes. And it's perfect. And it doesn't irritate your eyes at all. You guys, I love it. And you know that Thrive gives back. They donate funds and products to help communities thrive. So discover your new trusty favorite thing from Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. And right now you can get exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. That's thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. I'm going to spell it for you. Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pink shade. You get it? Because they give back. They give to the cause. Thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade for 20% off your first order. Go get that mascara, guys. You'll love it. Okay, now that brings me to, is he religious at all?
I always say that that's a question that Maddie has to answer. I don't like to answer any questions regarding religion when it comes to Maddie. But I will say that Maddie came from a very religious family. So he came from a very religious family, but I would say that Maddie is a lot more open-minded, and definitely has like his own core values and beliefs. And they don't necessarily align with like what his family believes. That's all I can say about
Well,
that.
I think you can tell that on the show. I mean, I think the conversation this week at the gym was interesting because he was trying to like look everywhere but at a girl,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, which
yeah.
in a lot of ways is like, hey, every guy should be like that. Don't look at me. I'm at the gym, you know, it's respectful. But it was also interesting about when you were drinking wine and we'd seen it on the preview. And I said, okay, well, obviously he wouldn't be drinking wine or drinking it on camera if he felt it was against his values or if he felt it would be seen negatively. As like, so obviously we see a lot of guys on these shows say, we're never going to
Absolutely.
try to change you. And then they do, you know?
Yeah. This is something that I definitely knew about Maddie prior to like him coming here. We had a lot of these discussions about who I was as a person. And, I knew he came from a very religious family. So I wanted to know the depth of that and what that meant to him. And yeah, Maddie, I would say a lot of people like to paint Maddie as being like so extremely innocent, but just because Maddie lived in Iran and says like the government restricted this did not mean that he didn't participate in all of it. So I think people forget that and they think like I'm sabotaging him or something sometimes, but like he's definitely not as innocent as people think. So like I'm
That's funny.
definitely not sabotaging him in any way. Like I can't tell you the amount of people that are like, you snuck pork in him on with marshmallows or something. I'm like, one, I didn't even know that marshmallows had pork, but two, no one forced it down his throat. And Maddie has tried all of the food since being here. I think it was more about like when you move to a new environment and like you try things, it can like literally make you sick, like
Yeah.
physically sick. And we were dealing with that in the very beginning. So we just kind of like, I was like, whatever you're comfortable doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want somebody to force you to eat something. And we see a lot on the show, people like kind of refusing to try other foods and doing it rudely. And
Yeah.
with the marshmallows have pork. I didn't, that's
I
news
had
to
no
me as
idea, but
well.
apparently it's a really big deal. So so, I don't know, but it's so funny to me because, we talked to you mentioned is Maddie super religious? Like a lot of the values that you see Maddie talk about, he says, my mother raised me this way, or my mother taught me this.
Right.
So these are things that are unfamiliar to him, but it's not because he doesn't want to try it or he thinks it's bad to try it. It's just that it's unfamiliar to him. So, like, if Maddie wants to try pork, I'm by no means going to say, don't eat that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
bad, So, Yeah, he makes his own decisions.
Well, yes, right. Do you guys ever watch those makeup influencers and think, ah, I wish I could do that? I'm always trying to do a perfect contour or a cat eye, but the truth of the matter is, I just use my same old things that I love. And in this case, it is Thrive Cosmetics. And the two things I love the most are their Liquid Lash Extensions mascara and the Buildable Blur concealer. You guys, these two things, I put them on every single day in addition to some eyeliner, and that's it. I call it a day. I'm not going to be able to be like a makeup influencer, but I can look good in the few items that I love. And you know that Thrive Cosmetics makes certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free products you can depend on for daily wear to show stopping self-expression, which sometimes you got to pile that mascara on a little thicker, you know? Let me tell you about the mascara. They have over 40,000 five-star reviews. It lasts all day. And to take it off, you just warm water and a washcloth. And they have something called flake-free tubing formula. And it is cool because when you take it off, they look like little tubes that come off your eyelashes. And it's perfect. And it doesn't irritate your eyes at all. You guys, I love it. And you know that Thrive gives back. They donate funds and products to help communities thrive. So discover your new trusty favorite thing from Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. And right now you can get exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. That's thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade. I'm going to spell it for you. Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pink shade. You get it? Because they give back. They give to the cause. Thrivecosmetics.com/pink shade for 20% off your first order. Go get that mascara, guys. You'll love it.
Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu is the podcast hosted by me, Stacey Keenan.
And me, Christine Lakin.
On Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu, we recap the iconic 90s sitcom and TGIF mainstay step by step.
While I was a fan and watched every episode,
I am watching the show for the very first time.
We are lifelong friends and TV stepsisters.
So join us for a juicy peek behind the scenes as we explore what it was like to come of age in front of the cameras on a hit network TV show.
For sweet 90s nostalgia, breakdowns of classic 90s looks, and plenty of laughs. Let Keenan and Lakin give you deja vu.
On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, now explain to me the story of how you met Maddie and then how you guys like found out about the show and decided to do it. Cause I know all that's like a big process.
Yeah. So obviously I was Maddie's teacher. I was teaching him conversational English. So he was literally on a platform where he just wanted to talk to Americans. So it wasn't like I was teaching him formal English. So we were
his English is perfect.
Perfect. Like he doesn't need me to, he did it so that he could expand things like slang and like terms that, you know, he may not learn from just a book that he gets in Iran. So I mean, at the start of it, we were just having conversational English classes and I was strictly business. Like I did not talk to anyone outside of this platform, but long story short, Maddie, obviously because of restrictions, was not able to use the platform anymore. We kind of lost contact and somehow he managed to like send me this like funny clip or something, I think it was. And it had like Baby Yoda in it. And I was so unfamiliar with Instagram because I didn't use it at the time that like I clicked it, opened it and didn't even realize it was his page until like days later. And then when I saw his profile, it was just like shirtless pictures and like tons of females. And I was like, oh, like, I was so not into this. Like, I was like, why would he even send me to this page? But then he was persistent and he kept having conversations with me and we just got to know one another. And it's crazy because I used to talk to Maddie about like girls he would go out with and stuff like that. And but a friendship developed. And then from that friendship, he got to know me on a personal level and I got to know him. And I just completely fell in love with him. But I really was like, do I love this person through the phone or like, how do I actually feel? So going to Turkey really like solidified that for me because the person that I knew that I had talked to every single day for like a year was exactly who he was in person.
So yeah, that was different. But about this show, it's really funny because Maddie actually has a pretty large social platform for English, and I grew one as well. And now the followers there are primarily from other countries, so they're not like from the US. And it was funny because we weren't even familiar with 90 Day Fiance, and our students, we were not in a relationship at all, but we were making content together, like educational videos.
Okay.
And our students were like tagging like at 90 Day Fiance, and like you guys would be cute on 90 days, and all of this stuff. And it was kind of like a joke. Like I was like, what is this? Like, we're not even together. This is before the feelings developed. And then after feelings developed and after all this happened, we joked around about it, and then it just became our reality. So that's really where that started. And I know a lot of people like to say like, I didn't watch the show before I was on it, but like we genuinely didn't know a whole lot about the show until we were too advanced in it. But
wow.
So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah. And I will say all of those conversations, one of the things that didn't get brought up, which is kind of comical, was our age, because in the beginning we were just friends and we were like talking about life and talking about things. And I knew Maddie was younger, but I honestly thought he was probably in his late 20s, maybe. But I will say by the time we found out each other's age, it was too late. So we were both in shock. And
what remind me what the age difference is? Because I know, like,
I think it's like 10 or 11. We have a 10 or 11 year age gap. But neither one of us like genuinely realized that. We knew that we had a gap, but we just didn't realize the gap was that large. And it's funny because nobody like that followed our English pages ever commented on our age difference. Like, even when they first announced us on the show, no one commented on our age. But then the minute that like number goes up beside us, it became, like, super controversial. But it is what it is.
But it's not crazy to be 10 years difference. But like, what is crazy, you know, we've got Mark and Mina have a big difference. But I mean, Sean and Aaliyah are like 62 and 25. Like that. No, that's nuts.
Well, I'll just say, like, I used to probably would have been in total shock about it, but like, I'll be the first to admit that I don't act my age. I act like a child. I'll be the first to admit that. And Maddie is way more mature than me, so he acts like an old man. So I think we balance each other out, so it's fine.
That is funny. Well, yeah, I the age thing has not even occurred to me with you guys. It hasn't occurred to me at all. Yeah, no, it hasn't, because you guys seem like the same age. Now, I'd like to go back to something you said. You said that you were talking to him about girls that he's dating. So he's allowed, you mean in our mind, like he wouldn't be allowed to date in Iran. It would just be like whoever you're with is who you're marrying, kind of a culture.
So that's the misconception that I'm saying is, like, obviously when Maddie is talking about Iran, he's talking about the Iranian government. He's talking about the restrictions and the laws that they have and the punishments that can occur if you do these things. But that doesn't mean that people don't do them. Like, they still do them. And yeah, Maddie definitely dated people and went out with people. Now, of course, you have to be very careful when you're doing that in a country where the government, you know, has so many restrictions. But he did all those things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it does make it seem on the show that he's very sweet and innocent, and he is so soft spoken, and his voice is so calming, I think.
Yes.
And I think
but
that's
he's not innocent. He's not.
That is so funny. Now, let's talk about your dad. Okay, like your dad, I recognize, you know, is very similar to my dad. You know, good old
Southern boy.
Is good old Southern guy. My dad grew up in the Delta. You know, is your dad doing okay these days?
Yeah, my dad's doing good. I mean, we take it day by day. Right now he's doing really well. Like, he's been exercising and trying to do the things he can do to, you know, prolong things as long as possible. But Dad doesn't really like to even talk about what he's dealing with that much, because he just wants to keep pushing forward. So we just try not to live in it. I think the times that it's hardest for me is when I do talk about it, because when I'm not talking about it, it doesn't feel like reality almost. Because we just live, you know. So, but he's doing good. He's doing good. He does have like a little bit more difficulty doing things that he used to could do, but he's doing great. Yeah. He has a really good sense of humor about all of this as well. So that's good.
When your dad was saying, and he said it twice, is he going to make you wear a jihad and nobody corrected him to say it's hijab. I was like, oh no. And then he said it twice. I was like,
in my defense,
it is a word that can be confused, but I was like, oh my gosh.
He was definitely corrected. Nobody saw that. But he knows the difference now. And the funny part is like, I think Maddie found that laughable. It was laughable. Maybe not to everyone, but he definitely knows now. So he can correct it now, but I can't promise that he will. He might still say it wrong by accident. So
it was funny. And then your stepmom seemed very sweet and supportive. And we were watching people like, that's a lot of food for like 4 people. I go, let me guarantee you this. They have all that food out because they're probably like, we're going to feed the crew. We're going to feed all the people that are here. I was like, they're not going to have all these people come over and not feed them. That would be rude.
So yeah, this is my dad's girlfriend. She's super nice, super
girlfriend,
wonderful.
Yes,
it's fine. She's like stepmom.
Yeah, yeah.
And she is the hostess with the mostest. So I would like to say that it was just because she had a lot of people over, which she will always feed anyone at her home. That's a very Southern thing to do.
Yeah.
But she is like that every time I've been at her home. And also, one thing that I wish people could see was that she does make dishes designated for like certain people. So, she has pork there, but then she has other meat that she knows that Maddie might eat. And same for me, like I have gluten restrictions and she always cooks like separate dishes just for me.
That's nice.
Yeah, she definitely has a Southern hospitality. I think she was most cringe because she always uses really fancy dishes when people come over. But, on the show, we use paper plates. So that was hard for us to watch. But
she was upset. That wasn't her usual. Yeah.
It wasn't her usual. It's my usual. I use paper plates.
Me too. Okay. And then, so at the beginning, you also said that your mom and your sister knew about Maddie, but you hadn't told your dad. Are we going to see your mom and your sister or sisters on the show?
You will not see my mom. My mom just prefers not to be on camera. She's wonderful. She is supportive of me and whatever decisions I make.
Yeah.
And you might see some of my sisters. I don't know.
Does everybody live in Hattiesburg?
No, we're kind of all scattered. So my sisters do live in Hattiesburg. I actually have a lot of siblings, but my sisters live in Hattiesburg, and my mother lives out of town, and my dad lives in Hattiesburg as well.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
Well, we don't say half in my family.
Okay.
So I have 3 sisters and 3 brothers, but I only talk to I have 3 sisters that I talk to frequently and 1 brother that I talk to frequently, which I think you guys saw him at the table. So.
Oh yeah, we did. Now that that's right.
Yeah.
And he seemed supportive. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff for the cameras, they're trying to be like, but at the same time, you're like, it seemed like everybody was being nice. Nobody was being weird or they tried to build it up like it's going to be like this big thing. But I was like, everybody seemed pretty welcoming.
Well, I'll be honest. I really didn't know how my dad would react. Like I was a bit hyperventilating a little bit when I knew I was going to go tell my dad this because I didn't know what his reaction would be. So
yeah.
I think the hype was warranted because I was scared, but he handled things well, considering I threw it on him at the last minute. So
and why did you do that? Why did you throw it on him at the last minute?
Okay. I don't really have an answer for that other than I have always been one to kind of like keep whatever I'm doing to this is not a big surprise for my family. The fact that I wait till the last minute for everything. I mean, even when I went to Turkey, I told them I was going like for work and that I told my dad 2 days before I left, like on the Sunday before I left for Turkey, like, hey, I'm flying to Turkey, like across the world, because I knew he wouldn't be okay with it. So it was kind of like one of those things. It's like, I'm going to do it anyway. So I might as well wait till the last minute, which is not always good, but I'm guilty of that. So I did that.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Springfest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Yeah, when we saw him and you were like, "So, Dad, let me just tell you," he's like, "Huh? What?"
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad would have killed me. My dad would have killed me.
Well,
My
I
dad,
mean,
you know what?
thankfully there were other people there, so then
Yeah.
that's why he would kill me.
Yeah, he was just like, he would not be surprised if I did something like that. I'll put it that way. He would be like, if anybody's going to do it, it would be you. You would be the one, you know. Now, as far as Maddie's family goes, have you met them? Because you said he met your kids. So have you met like his parents or anything on Zoom? Have you had a chance to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have been talking to Maddie's family for
years now.
I do talk to them through
The phone, I have to use translation
Yeah, of
because
course.
they don't speak English.
or I have to have someone translate
For me, but this is something that I've been doing for forever. It feels
Mhm.
like since I've known them. Again, it started out as we were kind of like, I was helping him with English, and then we were kind of like colleagues, like working together. So they knew me through that. And
Mhm.
then after that, when feelings developed, Maddie actually, I think, told them before I was like ready for him to tell them. He was just
Mhm.
kind of like,
I love this person.
Aw.
So I was just like, I don't know what to do with that. And I didn't know how they would react because I told you they are really religious. But all I can say about his family is they are so kind and so gracious and so loving and so supportive. And like they take me, as I am. Obviously, I'm sure there's some things that they would prefer that I do differently,
Mhm.
but they have shown me nothing but love. So I only have great things to say about his family, for sure.
How many siblings does he have?
He has one. He has a sister.
And is she still in Iran?
She is, yes.
She is. Okay. Well, I was sad this week when he said, that when he talks to them, he feels, really sad when he gets off the phone. She's like, yeah. And you're not you. I was like, when I get home, I can tell that you've talked to them because you're sad. And I understood what you were saying. You were saying like, you maybe just don't call them every single day because then every single day you're sad. And also you live here now. So maybe you have to get a little more used to, not talking to them every day, and I understood your point, but he was like, "You don't want me to talk to them every day?" I was like,
Oh, I
"Oh, this is
know.
sticky."
It was hard to watch. And I did get a lot of backlash about that. But I think what people are missing is that I've never told Maddie to not talk to his family.
Of course,
It was more
yeah.
about moderation. In fact, I encouraged him to make phone calls to his family. But when you call someone from like early in the morning till late in the evening and they're like crying constantly, it does something to your mental health. And so I think sometimes we don't know what's best for us. So I had really good intentions when I said that. I'm sure it
Yeah.
didn't come out that way. But I would never tell Maddie to not talk to his family, but I definitely was encouraging him during that time, maybe to like speak to them a little less. Cause I think they were having trouble like processing their own emotions. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of like a volcano. And so it was just really hard. Like when you go to work and you come home and the person you love is hurting, it's hard. And I totally get it. And I don't want to seem like I'm not sensitive to that because I was. But it was also really hard for me mentally to see that. So it was just more about trying to figure out how to manage that the best way possible. And that was what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it because I feel like your point was valid. It's like you're kind of like it's hard for them and it's hard for you, but you're making it worse by continuing,
Yeah.
I do.
And like if he did like lower the amount of contact and like things were worse, obviously I would be like, call them more.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It was just trying to navigate it. This is something that I had never dealt with before. And a lot of people watching this show have not dealt with it or will ever deal with it. So I think we all, process things differently. So
Yeah, and is there a chance that because I know once you're in the United States on a green card, like until you get your some kind of paper, then you can travel, but it's a long time before even if he wanted to go back, it's a long time before he could go
Correct,
back. And is there a possibility if and when that time comes, he could meet them in Turkey, like
Yeah.
or he could?
Yes, he could definitely meet them in Turkey. The thing about that is his family has to be willing to go to Turkey. And you have to keep in mind that his family is very, I don't know how to say that. Like, they love where they're from, and so it's hard for them also to just be able to travel, because this may be something that they're not familiar with. So
Right. Yeah.
definitely it is something that he could do, and
It's just getting them there would be maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting, as we had a last season or a couple seasons ago, we had Adnan and Tiger Lily, and they would go same thing when things were not great in Jordan, where he was from. They would meet in Turkey a lot, but then they had his family come over to Turkey and meet with her as well. And so, yeah, I think
it's the capital of 90-Day Fiance.
And you could get hair plugs, you could get some new lips,
everything.
You could do it all. You're like, while I'm here, let me just get some Botox.
That's right.
You know? I'm like, it's so funny. Do you ever see those memes of people that are like in the airport in Istanbul, and it's all these guys with their heads wrapped up because they've come to, and they've all gotten
I've been on a plane
plugs.
with a whole plane of them. Like, I am not kidding you. When I came back from Turkey, the whole entire plane was like scabs all over.
No.
It's okay. Props to them. Props to them.
That is crazy. Well, you know what? If you got to get it done, you got to get it done. And I guess we've seen a whole spinoff of Darcy and Stacey on TLC went to Turkey and got head to toe. They did it all. They got the teeth. They got everything.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's it. I'm telling you. Well, next time you not if you go to see his family, they probably wouldn't want you to spend your time doing that. Okay, then the last thing I want to ask you before we go is this week, and he had said it last week too, that he was concerned that you drawing female bodies meant you were bisexual. Now, my sister is an artist, and I've seen her nudes and stuff, and this doesn't mean she's bisexual. It doesn't mean she's not, but it doesn't mean she is. So I was kind of wondering if this was although now you're saying he's not as innocent as we think, if this was a cultural thing where he's like, if you're drawing nudes, then you must be gay, or if he really is thinking that, or if you are like, hey, in my life, I have been bisexual, and just in our country, it's not such a big deal, or we don't just really talk about it because I'm with you. So tell me about that and how it came up. And because I thought you had a pretty good answer, but then the producer was like, why don't you just definitively say no? You're like, I don't have to say shit.
Yeah. And I really think people didn't like that answer, but I stand by that. So the thing is like, I don't think that Maddie has problem with anybody's like sexuality. First of all, I'll say that, like, he's friends with everybody, doesn't care. I think it was really more about like me. He wanted to know about me because obviously he's wanting to be in a relationship with me. So he wants these answers. For me though, I thought it was a bit weird to ask me about my sexuality, especially like in the gym at a public setting. Like, you're asking me this. And also, let me be very honest with you. And I've been like this my whole entire life with every person that I'm with. I think questions about sexuality are weird. Okay. That's my personal opinion. I feel like everyone wants to be the first to be like, don't out somebody, don't make them do this. But then they'll be the first ones to be like, say what you are, like, I don't get it. So for me, when someone starts like questioning sexuality, my reasoning is like, why? Like, if I was to say, yeah, I'm like 100% straight, like, are you concerned that I'm going to go cheat on you with a guy, Right. So for me, it was more like, I've chosen you. You're the person that I'm with. So like, I'm loyal to you. So why does this matter? And also it was more about like, if you want to have this conversation with me, this probably isn't the place. My eyes got like this big, and that when he asked, I was like, this is weird. I kind of laughed at myself when I said that, because to me, it was weird. We were having a full, like a different conversation, and then it switched over to my sexuality. So I was like, I don't get this. And also it was about like, I don't get how you're putting my like artwork with my sexuality. And that's a bit offensive to me. Yeah. So I see everyone's perspective. I know that I could have taken the easy route out, but for me, it was like, why are you questioning my loyalty to you? And
I'm not giving that to you because I think that's a strange question. So
Yeah.
yeah, I stand by that. And also I think that for me, I connect with people's souls. Like, I don't even think that I sexualize people that much. So like, I don't like these types of questions.
Yeah. Well, I thought you answered it well. And I think it was just sort of like, I think you're like, you said, I'm not going to give you the answer that you want. So forget it. And I kind of read into that as just as a viewer is like, I'm not having this conversation with you that's about a very private situation on camera at the gym,
Or
like,
just at the gym. Like, even if
yes.
the cameras aren't present, like no. But I can't say what might happen later. But I will say that, I'm very strong-willed, and you're going to see that like throughout the rest of this. So, again, people say like, how could you keep this from your dad until the last minute? How could you like do this? How could you keep this a secret? Why are you so secretive? Why are you gaslighting? I'm a private person. I don't have all the answers for you as to why I am the way that I am, but
Yeah.
I am. So that's
Yeah.
who I
Okay.
am. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that you've done a good job on social media of addressing the questions and stuff, and that you're funny about it and self-deprecating about it or whatever. And that's sort of what we need from our 90-day stars. We need people to not take themselves so seriously and fight with people on social media and stuff, because then that just makes the trolls
there's
jump
really
in and
no
want to fight more.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have opinions. I'm fully aware that not everyone is going to be supportive of me or like my opinions, but it's also not going to change my opinion. So
Hmm.
I think that's where I'm a little strong-willed sometimes, but I'm that way in my own life with the people that I love and the people that know me. Is like, if I'm a certain way, then I am. So you just
Yeah.
like fully accept it or you don't. And maybe that's a Southern thing. Like, I'm so strong-willed, but I am. So
I think that we've seen on wherever, social media or Reddit or somewhere, that Maddie is he doing personal training now and teaching English, or you can't
yeah, he
say,
does
or
both.
he does
He
both?
did both in his home country.
Hmm.
He did personal training and all, and then he, that was his goal when he got here. That's what he wanted to do. So that's what he does.
Yeah. And, Sarper came over from Turkey and now he's personal training in LA. Sarper posted something about a class he was doing. And so many of my listeners, like, I'm going to this class. I was
Yeah, like I
okay.
actually saw those posts and I was like, it's so like I think that that's great for people because he has such a sense of humor and then like incorporates that with fitness and that's wonderful. And I think like him and Maddie both have like totally different ways that they do their job and they're
Yeah.
both good at it. So power to
Maddie,
them.
well, Maddie seems very, again, he seems very serious and he seems very soft spoken, but it was funny when he got the bad beard cut.
Oh my God. That
And
was
then,
the worst.
and you came back to the house and I was like, she is drawing on him with a magic marker.
I didn't want to do that. That's what people fail to see. He would not go anywhere if I didn't do it. Like he was done with life
And you're like, don't you
until
think
his
people are going
mustache.
to notice you have magic marker on your face?
I tried to tell him.
That is so funny. I was like, gosh, she doesn't have like a little eyebrow pencil or something she could.
It was an eyebrow pencil. That's what it was.
It looks
It
like a
just
magic
looks like a
marker.
marker, but it's an eyebrow. It's like literally an eyebrow thing. That's what it is. That's what I used on his face.
It was funny though, because you were like, honestly, that was a bad hairstyle. Yeah,
It was.
it
It was
was.
so bad.
It was so funny though, because he kept saying that it looks like he's frowning. And he was like, I look like this. I look like this everywhere we went. And I was like, please stop making that face, because I would laugh. And then he's like, why are you laughing? Like, it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
It is funny. And then we also had that very serious conversation. And he's like, got this marker thing on
Painted
his
all
face.
over his face. Yes, that's so funny.
Yeah,
That's so
it's
funny.
funny in hindsight, like when I watch it, but at the moment it wasn't funny.
And you're like, we have to go to the coffee shop because we're filming there. Like, we have to go.
We
And
have
he's
to
like,
live. We have to leave our house. Yeah.
we
And
have
also,
to.
let me just say, he was persistent about going to this barbershop by himself. So he was on his own. Like,
Yeah.
so he has to take responsibility for that. So,
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so happy to talk to you. When you came on my screen, I was so excited. And then this week also on the show, Mark and Mina are on the show, and they had gone to Bald Head Island in North Carolina, where we go for the beach. And I was like,
yeah.
I've got 2 things on my show at once. I'm so excited. We got
Yeah.
Mississippi and Bald Head Island. So that was exciting. Now, also people have asked me where they can buy your art. And I think you have like an Instagram for your art and an Instagram for yourself. So tell people about that if they're interested in it.
Yeah, so I like to keep my art separate from that because I know not everybody's into it, and that's
Yeah.
fine. So my art is just stevienicole.com, just my name.
Okay. That's that's a
Yeah.
website, stevienicole.com.
stevienicole.com, yeah.
Okay.
And you can find the same like anywhere on any of my socials at Stevie Nicole Art, I think. But my website's just stevienicole.com. And my name is spelled with an H. My mom spelled it a little weird, but I was named after Stevie Nicks. So that's
Okay. I
why
was going to
it's
ask
Stevie
you where the
Nicole.
Stevie came from.
Yeah, it's Stevie Nicole is my first name. So
Okay. I get it.
it's Stevie
Mary
Nicks.
Payne. Yeah. I get it. I was like, nobody will have to explain to Stevie that my name is Mary Payne. She'll just get it because she's from the South. She'll get it. She won't call me Mary. She'll understand. Okay, we're done. Don't hang up. And thank you again. And I'll link your website in my show notes. But don't hang up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. You're so nice.
Thank you. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.